Well, hey, good late afternoon, everybody. We got 5:14 in the PM here, October the 30th, 2025. Just crossed Water Street there. There you go down to the lower levels of Michigan and Wacker, and we go down there sometimes. We're gonna head up. This is my commute home from work, day before Halloween. Tomorrow we'll film the Halloween parade up there in Oldtown, North Halstead, Lakeview, Chicago. Tonight we're just gonna walk through River North like as usual. We'll end up in Oldtown and go through Lincoln Park. I'll probably head mostly on Wells Street, but we might cut over through Wabash and Clark Street, heading that way. This is Michigan Avenue south of Wacker. How's everybody doing there? Hey, Eminem there, SEQK, Grace. ECG, Jeff, how you doing there? Ivan, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, there's the Wrigley Building, the Tribune Tower, the Intercontinental Hotel. You can see the John Hancock barely off in the distance. You know, I don't know if we'll see any Halloween costumes tonight. We saw there was like an after-work event there. Some people were dressed up. There was like the Knights of the Round Table. And one woman, she was dressed as like a vending machine. I thought that was interesting. And I think you could actually like get some candy out of her vending machine. It's a pretty creative costume. But here's Samuel. How you doing there? So hey, maybe we'll sneak down the Riverwalk a little bit. We'll cut over to Clark Street. We'll see if anything's going on over there, and we'll head home here. And I'm gonna plan on working from home tomorrow. There's the bagpiper. Sometimes we catch the bagpiper playing, but he's taking a break. He's got his kilt there. So here we'll head. We got the light here, so we'll head across Wacker Drive. This is Wacker Drive, the Michigan Avenue. We usually begin and end our live streams around this area because I work near here. I'm heading home from work for an architecture and engineering firm. There's the Chicago Architecture Center, and yeah, there he is. I've seen this guy before. Well, here, let's head down the Riverwalk here. We'll see what's shaking here. Chicago Riverwalk. Hey, they got the Green River. It's kind of an aquamarine. Look at that. There's the yellow water taxi pulling out there, taking some nice photos. This is the South Michigan Bridge there. Look at that. How you doing? Appreciate it. Yeah, nice place to take photos here. Look at that. There's the Mandela there. And, yeah, look at that nice view. So if you go back to Wednesday, further down the river, we saw bridge lift. The better bridge lift videos from last Wednesday. We got more bridges, but it's a lot of waiting around. That's Van Sky there. Hello, Chicago. T-Lime Tea Time. How you doing there, Krista? Yeah. Hello, friends there. Samuel. Yeah. That's Van Sky. Sweet home Chicago. So hey, look at that nice view. We'll head towards Marina Towers. We'll follow this water taxi. So hey, we got about 55 degrees. I guess maybe got to 56 today. It's kind of cooled down again, but not too bad. Probably the same temperature tomorrow. At least it's not going to be raining. I did see a 60 for Monday Fahrenheit. But, see, they got this closed up here. They'll probably start closing up the marketplace for the season there. But hey, Leo Burnett Building, R.R. Donnelly there on the left, Marina Towers there on the right there, the Corn Cob buildings. There's the bagpiper. He started back up. I hear him there. Yeah, beach please. So we went to the beach this morning. We went to the beach yesterday. We saw Ernesto Chicago Nuggies there, and the waves were crazy there. I posted that rerun to YouTube. We are posting some content on TikTok now. I finally relented, but even though I did a quiet, silent live stream this morning, don't expect me to do much live streaming on TikTok. If I do, I'll do friends only or do silent ones. I know I'm like punishing myself, but you know, I appreciate people. Some people did give me gifts this morning. I appreciate that, but it reminds me of things I don't miss about TikTok, like I wasn't even talking, like I was just walking and somebody wanted to like do a split screen. I'm like, why? I'm not even talking. You know, they want to do a battle. I don't miss the battles. me, the battles are stupid, but that's just my opinion. I'm talking about TikTok. Thankfully, we're on YouTube here. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. There's negatives to YouTube as well. I know I'm alienating my TikTok audience, but we'll see what happens. I don't even hear rumors of a deal. They were supposed to finalize the deal today, but let me check. I haven't checked the news about it. Here we're underneath the Wabash Avenue Bridge here, Chicago Riverwalk. October the 30th, 2025. At 5:19 of the PM, 55 degrees. The Chicago River. So, Digby, I know you're trying to give me advice. You don't know my personality. Usually when people give me directions like you, I do the opposite. So, you know, maybe I'll just turn this live stream off and not show the buildings there. You know, I know you're just trying to, that's what you want to. So I'm going to film this chair. I'm going to film the ground now because you want to see the buildings. Let me turn the comments off. I think it's better if I do live streaming without the comments, because after 3 years of doing this, it's affected me even more. Like, I thought it would affect me less, but it affects me more. I really don't enjoy many of the comments, and it's a shame because 90% of the comments are great, and my type of personality is just wrong for live streaming. But we do quality live streams if I could just focus on what I'm filming. And you don't understand that, you know, you got to keep looking at the screen there. You trip and fall looking at comments. You miss stuff instead of looking at what you're filming. And here we'll show the there's the John Hancock, and here's underneath of State Street on the Chicago Riverwalk. So thanks for reminding me to turn off the comments. So if you're I'll let the people in the comments talk amongst yourselves there. Everybody's a critic. Everybody's if you can do it better, be my guest. Here's the Marina Towers, and there's not too many people on the Riverwalk here. It's not as crowded as it is summertime, but at least it's above freezing. What do I always say? Any day above freezing is a good day in Chicago. Hey, so I'm gonna get a copyright strike because it is copyrighted music, but we can scrub it out. We can scrub it out of the video. That's the magic of AI there. Yeah, I like this music here. So there you can see the underneath the Marina Towers there. Of course, they drove the car off the parking deck there in that early 1980s Steve McQueen movie. These are Bertrand Goldberg. Bertrand Goldberg is the architect. They built these in the late 60s, like 1968. They're very revolutionary there. Look at that mixed use there. There's a little pleasure craft heading through there. Hey, this Flames grew up in Chicago. That's good. Thanks for tuning in there. Bobby, how you doing there? D-Lime Tea Time. Yeah, Marina City, there it is. So I can still see the comments on the screen there. That's nice. I record the comments so I can go back, and if people anger me, I can make it so that they never see my content again. And they'll be thanking me because they think I'm doing it wrong or something. Hey, there's the House of Blues. House of Blue. We'll head over to Clark Street. So we got one more street here. It's Dearborn Street. We're heading under the Dearborn Street Vascular Bridge here. Cable crossing. Do not anchor. Yeah, they got electric cables that go underneath here. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody here. Welcome to the Chicago Riverwalk. This is our walk home from work here. And we'll go by Tiny Tap here. Eventually there'll be Halloween decorations, but we've pretty much seen them all. Tomorrow's Halloween there. We'll go up and film the parade. At lunchtime we went to Marshall Fields. So if you missed it, I'm actually pretty proud of, besides, you know, we cut out a few times in the escalator, which is understandable. That building's massive. But we went up to the 7th floor. They set up the holiday Christmas tree in the Walnut Room, and we were able to film the Walnut Room on the 7th floor. We went to the Narcissus Room on the 7th floor. We got some nice views of the elevated train there on Wabash. There's a tiny tap skeleton there. How you doing, lounging around here? Broke the finger there. It's the middle finger. Yeah, Dolores, how you doing there, Scott? Yeah. Thanks everybody there. Tea lime, tea time. Here's Clark Street. But yeah, it was pretty windy this morning. It actually worked out. You know, it's funny how sometimes, you know, where I had no intention of, you know, losing my cool and ending my YouTube live, but you couldn't hardly hear me anyway. I listened to the rerun of I don't realize how garbled my voice was with the wind. It was pretty windy along the lakefront this morning. We tried to catch the sunrise. I did catch the sunrise on TikTok, and I was pretty much silent the whole time. But then I did that whole rant about like Apocalypse Now when we saw the helicopter. It wasn't a Black Hawk. I knew it wasn't a Black Hawk. I just kind of went with it for dramatic effect. That was just me just being funny. And here, let's go up to Clark Street here. We'll cross Clark Street and we'll start heading north here. But I would not have gotten that footage. I probably would have walked down Michigan Avenue, and I stuck around to see the sunrise, and we happened to see that helicopter, and it worked because it looked like you know how the Apocalypse Now, the helicopters came in at dawn over the water there and destroyed that Vietnamese village. In Apocalypse Now, the movie came out in 1979. Francis Ford Coppola. Here we'll head around. We'll head across Clark Street here. Yeah, the wind blew me away, messed up my hair, my beautiful hair, my long mullet locks here. Hey, we made it up here. Here's Wacker Drive. Hey, look at these buildings. That's the R. Donnelly. That was going to be 111 West Wacker, but they changed the design. The Great Recession affected that. Hey, look at this nice view we get. Very nice. Sorry, I'm going to turn the comments back on there. Hopefully that person went away. Yeah, Chicago. That's why here comes the ambulance. You hear a lot of sirens, so, you know, it's not a quiet place. A lot of yelling, car horns, sirens, jackhammers. But yeah, that's why I posted that video of that nice British couple, that there was people trying to talk them out of visiting Chicago and giving their travel guide, and they said they did it anyway. They had a great time. They didn't feel unsafe, and they're glad they did it. And who was telling them not to come to Chicago? Other Americans. You know, why is the people that bash America the most are other Americans? Some of them in political office. Here's on both parties, you know, including the president too. And here's Clark Street. We're heading north here. We'll go past the restaurants here. Look at this building. That's the side of the Britannica building. See how it's like a T shape. And there's the Thompson building there. Look at the Thompson building. That's nice. Christy, how you doing there? They're depressed. They have to leave America. See, look, go back to England. Yeah, see, there's positives, everything. Even England has problems. America has problems. Every place has its positive, negatives. They got it. Hey, I'm glad they gave. I always like seeing people's perspectives of Chicago that's never been here before. And so often we get people bashing Chicago. I'm like, have you ever come here? They're like, no, I would never go there. I'm like, well, obviously, you know, so it's fine. That's probably good. Stay away. It's probably better. We don't want nobody that nobody sent. So there's the back of the Marina Towers there. There's the hotel, the Chicago Hotel. We're on Clark Street. We're heading north here. We're heading home from work here on Thursday. Tomorrow we're going to film the Halloween parade there. And I'll get you what time starts. Maybe at lunchtime we'll go to the Lincoln Park Zoo. They got 2 new bears. Hey, Lambie T, how you doing there? Johnny Bronco. Yeah, stay away, good. Yeah, just watch my live streams. I'll take the risk. That's fine. I'm not trying to convince anybody to travel here, spend money here, move here. You know, this is where I live, so I got to stream where I'm at, and I work here. I got a job here, been working here in the architecture engineering industry for 26 years. Well, actually 30 if you count my time in interning in college. And so, hey, look at this nice view you get to that's the Wrigley building there. Look at that. Hey, that's a nice costume. Hey, very nice. Yeah, Brian Really Chicago there, YouTube. Very nice. Yeah. So, hey, see the Ghostbusters there, and I like his hairdo. Very nice. So, he's on the bike, riding the bike. So, hey, we're seeing some Halloween costumes. They got some lights. Here comes the ambulance here. Let's get this ambulance going by. So this is great. I love this. So pole barn vendor. Why do you think I'm going to get shot? I'm going to be all over you tonight. So you think I'm going to get shot? Yeah, tonight's the night. Are you going to feel guilty if I get shot? You're going to see me blade on the street. Will you call 911 if I get shot? Do you care about Chicago or Chicago violence? No, you just want to use it as a slam. So fine, you can do that. Every day we get people like you that tune in, and I love ripping into you because I feel energized. Tonight's the night I'm going to get shot. You predicted it. And yeah, don't come to Chicago, you'll get shot. So what? Suck it up. I thought you were a tougher man than that, or person. So hey, we're gonna lay into you tonight. What? Do your worst. You got to have a better comment than that. Here, look at there's the top of the Sears Tower. Yeah, Michael Anderson, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Here's yeah, look at the top of the Sears Tower. Here we're on Clark Street here. There, Clarence Darrow Way, we talk about it, Hubbard and Clark. Look at this beautiful housing here. Private event here, Bub City. Probably a Halloween party here, Bub City. We'll go by the Frontera Grill here. Everybody's inside, no one's outside. Hey, well, Harrison Street, they got live music here. And Cafe Barbariba here. Yeah, Rick Bayless has his, hey, there's some costumes there. Rick Bayless has his Frontera Grill here. You might see his products in your grocery store. Yeah. Suave. 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 Yeah. Yeah, Sears Tower. Sears Tower forever. Okay, let's see if we can get across the street before the light changes here. Got everybody's turning right now, of course. We made it. Yeah, Michael Anderson, Dolores Ball, Sheila, Jessa, how you doing there? Yeah. The winter's the best. The winter is the best gatekeeper we have. I agree. There's all these like Chicago gatekeepers, GATE keepers, that they're so worried that people will discover how beautiful Chicago is in the summertime and they'll all flock here and force real estate prices up. And real estate prices are higher than they should be, but I'm like, don't worry about it. We got the Chicago winter. That's the best gatekeeper we have. Chicago will never be, you know, Miami, Florida, Rio de Janeiro, unless climate change. Maybe climate change will kick in, and one day Lake Michigan will be like the French Riviera, you know. And parts of Europe are further north than us, but have better climates because of how the transatlantic trade winds work and the transatlantic current there. But hey, we're crossing. There's Mangiano's. Let's get across the street. This light's about to change here. Clark Street. Where are we at here? Grand Avenue. Look at this beautiful building here. Look at that Italianate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 stories tall. River North. Yeah, come to Chicago. You'll get shot. People. I get shot every day. It doesn't stop me. I still go to work. That's no excuse to be late for work. Everybody gets. You live in Chicago, you get shot. Here's Clark Street, Fado's. Yeah, Fado's is a nice Irish pub here. You can come here and how you doing? You can come here and play with ice. Here's Blue Chicago in Clark. If you're looking for a blues club, right here. I don't know if it's gonna be open later tonight. You can go to Buddy Guy's Legends there. We go down there sometimes in the South Loop. You can go to Kingston Mines there on Halstead in Lincoln Park. And then there's Andy's Jazz. If you're looking for a jazz club, you go to Andy's Jazz there. I think it's on Hubbard. No, it's on Kinsey. It's on Kinsey Street. We went by it earlier this week. And you can also go to Winter's Jazz Club on the Ogden Slip. We got some blues and jazz clubs in Chicago, home with the Chicago Blues. We saw Buddy Guy earlier this year. He played at Navy Pier. But hey, we'll head up Clark Street. There's the, hey, you want a trophy retail? Trophy retail available. There's the old Rainforest Cafe. This used to be the Rock and Roll McDonald's. We're on Clark Street. We just crossed Ohio. The Ohio House Motel's over there. Probably your cheapest option if you want to stay here. Yeah, Shelly, how you doing there, Kyle? Blade. You saw the Irish flag? Yeah, Fido's is a Irish pub. We'll pass another one. We'll pass the Kerryman up there. This yellow building, that's another Irish bar. That's the One Chicago Tower. There's the John Hancock. We're in River North here. Heading home from work here. We'll go past Portillo's. We went inside earlier in the week. I'm not going to go inside tonight. No, Portillo's pretty much look the same. There's the mail truck. Look out. It's honking. Look at the traffic backing up. So this is the traffic backing up to get on the Kennedy Expressway. And this is Ontario. So we'll wait for the light here and we'll play Frogger. So I bet you Orleans is all backed up. I bet you even Grand Avenue's all back. I bet you Kingsbury's all backed up. We'll see if we can get across here. We'll walk behind the cars here. Everybody's trying to get on the highway here, get out of town Thursday. Thursday's the new Friday. So here's Portillo's. Here's Portillo's in River North, Chicago. It's at Clark and Ontario. There, we went back to the Marine Towers there. Yeah, I remember, I'm old enough to remember the late 70s and early 80s when I was a little kid. And then people really did have junky cars. Cars would rust out. They would drive these rusty, nasty cars. And now everybody, even used cars, they all look brand new. No, there's the bodies. I mean, there's some little rust on the van, but that's about the most rust you'll see anything. So yeah, everybody's got nice new cars. They said, I read articles where the repo depot, the people that repossessed vehicles that can't make their payments, they're at a record high because, you know, even used cars are $50,000 now. The average price of a new car is $50,000, and a lot of people bought new cars after the pandemic and stuff, and they're still paying them off. And so we'll see how it goes. There's the Kerryman. That's an Irish bar. Dino Banning used to hang out there. Look at this nice view. You get back to the River North skyline here. We're at Clark and Erie. Clark and Erie here, Kerryman. Yeah, Dino Bannon, they said he used to sing songs there. It had a different name. I used to know the name. I have to look it up. I can't keep it all in my head. But that was Dino Bannon. He ran the North Side gangs until Al Capone's proxies took him out. Watched the Boardwalk Empire. We talk about it all the time in this city. Hey, somebody broke the glass here. So here, we'll head down here. We'll go up to, we're heading towards Chicago Avenue on Clark Street. Hey, you got some nice mountains there. Where were you tuning in from there? That's good. I don't have a car. I've lived 26 years in Chicago without a car, and I don't plan on getting a car. And even I do have a driver's license. I have to rent cars for my business. We you know, I work for an architecture engineering firm. I mean, I work for the business. I don't, you know, the business I work for. I guess I need to phrase that a different way. You know, we travel to other cities. You got to rent a car. You know, but if the cities have good transit system like Tokyo, I don't rent a car. You know, I've taken the Tokyo transit system, which is pretty nice. I would love to do some live stream in Tokyo. We need to get back there. You need to get back to some. We'll take this show on the road here. I just need the stock market to sell off. Here's which will never happen. I know. It won't happen for decades. Here's Lulu's Speakeasy. Is this the one that the guy we met in Humboldt Park, he might be part owner in this? Look at this place here. So Stardust, open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Stardust, Chicago. There's Lulu's Speakeasy. Here's Storyville. Look at the nice, they got the windows open here. This is on Clark Street. And very nice here, 710. Yeah, I got the nice murals here. Lulu's Storyville. This is like old time New Orleans here. Yeah, here's the old time New Orleans place there. Look at that. Storyville. Yeah, let's see what this looks like. I want to see, is there a doorman there? I just want to take a peek in the door. I want to show you how beautiful this place is. There's Storyville. Look at that. They got the nice New Orleans theme here, and they got the pictures. This almost reminds me of. Hey, there I am. This almost reminds me of King of Cups. They got the tarot card place here. Storyville Vintage New Orleans Restaurant Speakeasy. There it is. Hey, River North Halloween Bar Fest, November 1st, Saturday night. So Dia de los Muertos, Bodega Celeste, all these places we went back, they got a Halloween bar. So even Saturday night, people, Friday night, tomorrow is the real Halloween, and then November 1st is Dia de los Muertos, and I guess the party will continue all weekend. And they're gonna light the Christmas tree at the Walnut Room there in Macy's. Yeah, nice atmosphere. You see that, Michael Anderson? Remember when I was with Chris in June? We were in no, it was that June or July. We were in Humboldt Park. We went to the Barrio Fest there at the Puerto Rican Art Museum there in Humboldt Park. And then afterwards, Chris and I walked into the Puerto Rican flags there, and we went down Division, and we ran into the guy that ran there was a cocktail bar there, and he was talking. He had one of those Cadillacs there parked on the street, and I think he's associated with some of those businesses as well, and he was promoting his businesses. Here, Stop and Drink, the liquor house here. This is the Clark Street Ale House here. So you look at all these little strip of bars here. Across the street, you got Celtic Crossing, another Irish bar. If you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're heading home from work here. Thanks for tuning in here on YouTube. You live on Avers in Augusta? Hey, Brandy, how you doing there? Shelly? Yeah. Wes? May's tuning in? Hey, that's great. Hey, we got all the regulars here. That's good. So, Gold Coast Cafe. Okay, we got that. What else? This is Chicago, Clark Street. How you doing? I'm on YouTube here, just walking down the street. Hey, look at that. There's the John Hancock. That's the old YMCA building there. They restored it. This used to be a piano factory. Can you believe that? There was a lot of piano factories. We were talking about this. This wasn't Steger. We were talking about the Steger Piano Company or whatever that was. I think there's a suburb in the south suburbs named that. That's the building in the Loop there. The Steger building. This is a different one, and it always escapes me. I wish they would put a plaque here. I need to put a plaque myself, so I'll write it on the wall so when I go by here, I can remember what see Chicago Avenue, Clark Street. You see it in the building there, and this is an historic building too. That one has a plaque on it. This U.S. Bank building. That's a historic building there. It's got the Eagles. I think, yeah, there's a Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints Mormon temple over here. Moody Church is 2 blocks over there on LaSalle, between LaSalle and Wells there. We're on Clark Street. Deep Purple. Hey, look at the... Yeah, check out the Chicago Riverwalk there. It's pretty, a lot of good hotels around there. Some of them that with views to the river. It depends on your price range. You had to look it up, Margie. So hey, did I miss it here? So if you're looking for, there's a lot of Chicago live streamers that stream at nighttime. Steve Lyons streams late at night. Jody G TV streams late at night. Sometimes Ernesto Chicago Nuggy streams later at night than I do. Sometimes Nia streams later at night than I do. You know, you don't have to watch me. There's so many we literally have, we were talking about that last night. There's literally dozens and dozens of Chicago live streamers. Nick Koiken streams late at night. Overtime Seb streams late at night. You just got to search for Chicago live streamers at your time frame you want to watch. If you want to watch 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you know, midnight. I've been watching these World Series games. You know, I get up early. I live stream much earlier than most people do. Hardly anybody's watching. And, you know, if people tune in from Chicago, they're waking up, they're getting ready for work, they want to see what the temperature and what to wear and what if it's raining, so they'll tune in for that. They want me to do the time and temp in the morning. But people I usually stream from 6:30 to 8 in the morning. We caught the sunrise this morning and yesterday too. I know I ended my live stream early today, but we got it on TikTok. I got 97,000 on TikTok. I got thanks for getting me to 12,000 here on YouTube. I appreciate it. We doubled our, if you're new to my channel, thanks. Sorry I've been so on these political diatribes. I need to calm myself down. That's what I did this morning. Just go home and clear my mind, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Me yelling and screaming about it's not gonna change anything. It's just gonna alienate everybody. That's not why people tune in. Just like the person earlier, they want to see the buildings and the architecture and history, and that's really what I want to talk about too. I had the mistake. I thought I could talk about the morning papers, but I can't even read the news anymore. I read the news and I start screaming and yelling. I'm very Kafkaesque kind of feeling. I'm stuck in the bureaucracy. But here's the Washington Square here. Yeah, I almost feel like heading over there. But here, we'll stick on Clark Street because we usually don't walk. Usually we walk right through Washington Square. Happy Halloween there, Houston, Texas. Dave, how you doing there, Andrew? Hotels are cheaper. Yeah, they're cheaper than New York, yeah. Or what, Miami or even California City is probably cheaper. Yeah, Brandy, I can relate. We all got anxiety. I mean, you know, I'm very fortunate. You know, like, we've had Chicago live streamers encounter ICE. Ernie, Chicago Nuggies. They slammed him up on the hood. He's a U.S. citizen. You know, people were like, oh, yeah, you know, you walk in Lincoln Park, Lakeview. ICE was in Lincoln Park. ICE was in Lakeview. They tear gassed the kids with the Halloween costumes and the mom screaming, and, you know, it's just a bad look, you know, and I don't want to get into it now. See, I'm already talking about it. But we got to acknowledge something's going on. We filmed the No Kings. I guess there's a big event in November. Is there still the big march on Washington, November the 5th? I need to start talking about that and find out more information there. But I'm not going to go to that. I'm going to be here. A lot of people, I don't know if they're busing people into Washington, D.C. I guess the government shutdown's still going on. But hey, the Blackhawks are playing, the Bulls are playing. We've been watching the World Series. Bears lost on Sunday. There's the side of the Newberry Library. And that's the, look at that view to the John Hancock peeping over the residential buildings there. Yeah, thanks, Bonkers. How you doing there? I saw that. USSR. Yeah, we're back in the USSR. Well, that's what, I posted that, that great speaker there, the Lakota Sioux guy that I was talking about this morning. And he was like, when I was in school, they used to say, you know, USSR and Russia's bad because, you know, people tattle on their neighbors and masked men show up and people just disappear. And now that's happening here. And I know people justified, they said they're not U.S. citizens, but it is affecting U.S. citizens. It is. We can't say it's not. And it's certainly affecting, you know, whatever you want to call it, undocumented migrants or legal immigrants. It depends on what side of the political, you know, even the terminology is different. We're living in different worlds, you know, and I think part of America likes the violence because it's state-sponsored violence like WWE or WWF. You know, they feel the punishment should be like public shaming should go along with it. You need to slam the people to the ground, you know. And I'm one of the weird people that believe even non-U.S. citizens still deserve some sort of due process and know who's apprehending them, not some faceless. And they're doing it just to cover their legal They're just, you know, they're worried about the indemnity, or the being sued for wrongful violating Fourth and First Amendment if they're U.S. citizens. It's like if the cop doesn't read you your Miranda rights, or you don't have a warrant, you know. Here's this always reminds me of like a Led Zeppelin like album cover. Look at this. Look, they got the mirror. This is like Black Sabbath here. Look at that. Let's see if I can see myself in the mirror there. I got this interesting stuff here. This nice garden. And I'm not trying to be voyeuristic. I mean, you know, it's just I'm on a public street here. I'm just kind of admiring their landscaping there. But here across the way, there's some skeletons. We'll see. We might see some Halloween decorations. Let's go up LaSalle Street. We've been going through the Gold Coast, so let's go through LaSalle Street and see if there's any Halloween decorations we might have missed. Hey, there's the car. We saw a Carvana. We saw they were delivering a vehicle with Carvana. Right on Cleveland Street there. They were unloading it into a parking spot. Yeah, it's a cool garden there. Yeah, it does look like a Led Zeppelin. Thanks, Shelly there. Yeah, that's Mr. Jose. Yeah, they're nice and clean. We get that comment often. Yeah, I mean, we got some leaves, but yeah, much cleaner than New York City streets, which we got street sweepers and garbage bins and alleys. I think the alleys are the biggest difference. A lot of Manhattan doesn't have alleys, so the garbage piles up in front, and that's why Kenny NYC KB there, Kenny with the rats in New York gets film the rats. So this is LaSalle Street. We're north of Oak Street here. We're just heading home here. Look at that yellow door. That's nice. Let's go Blackhawks, yeah. Yeah, 60%. I know, racial profiling. I'm glad you're talking about it. We got to talk. I am very lost faith in the Supreme Court. I can't believe they ruled in September that it was a temporary ruling, which could be easily overturned, where they ruled that people can be racially profiled, and I disagree with that. You know, it's just here's the Greek Orthodox Church here. This is on LaSalle Street, and thanks for paying attention there. You got to turn on the politics, or politics to turn on you. I just need to do it in a less angry way. Here's the Annunciation Greek Orthodox Cathedral, Chicago. Look at that. Feed the hungry. Look at, you know, if we do go past November 1st and they don't, you know, recharge the SNAP benefits there, you know, there's money there that they're sitting there. They're not releasing it. There's like an emergency fund, and the only thing they're doing is like blocking that funding being used when it could easily be allocated here. It's just, you know, oh my God. I think cruelty is part of the strategy. It's supposed to be a cruel ending of the, you know, what people pejoratively call as entitlements, which was the the vast, you know, social safety net. They're like, we don't need this anymore. In the stock market, like, look at all the money in the stock market. You know, look at all the money in the big giant tech companies. Look at all the money in the yachts and the boats and the mansions, and you know, the people that got the tax cuts. Look at all this money. We're such a wealthy nation, but why is there poverty? You know, since the 1960s, the war on poverty. Well, we lost that war. It's just there's winners and losers to capitalism. That's all it is. You know, it's the system we got, and it's the best system we can have. Not, you know, because there's a problem with socialism, but we always had a mixed economy. There's been socialist aspects of our economy. That's why Amtrak still exists. Amtrak wouldn't have made it this far if we were in a completely capitalist, laissez-faire society. It would have been gone a long time ago. And I'm happy it's here. I like the Amtrak, but I'm a hippie. You know, we might need it if all the TSA aircraft controllers stop showing up, because they're not getting paid. Isn't it great to be in a political bargaining chip there? You know, we're all hostages. No one wins. We know this, but Here's St. Anne's Convent. So we're on LaSalle Street here. Welcome to Chicago. Here we're heading home here, and we'll head up Wells Street. I want to see if that. I wonder if I'm hoping the grocery store, the new fresh market there where Dom's used to be. I really hope it opens by like November 1st. Like it looks like they're right about ready to open it. And one day I want to walk by there and see that thing back open, and we'll try to sneak in there and get you some footage. We did that with the other fresh market when it opened in the northern end of Lincoln Park there near Lakeview. There used to be a Dom's Market at Halstead and Diversey. So here we'll head up to the intersection here, Elm Street. There's some nice churches here. Yeah, the South Church. Here's the Zelda Orme's apartments here. Yeah, 116 West Elm. Have a good night there, Margie, Michael. Maria's taking off. Okay, good. Thanks, Maria. Thanks for tuning in. Alvin, how's it going there? Yeah, politics is, that's a good statement there. Politics is mental cruelty to empathetic people. And we got a vice president that says empathy is a bad word. But he goes, we'll lay off of that. But hey, thanks for tuning in, Alvin. Yeah, the Blue Jays have a chance to win at home. But LA's not going to make it easy. They're going to still play the games. Here's the Red Line subway entrance here. The Clark and Division stop on the Red Line. So we'll cross. And then there's a good view to the Sears Tower. We'll turn around. Here's the ADA elevator access to the subway station here. Hey, that's a nice van. That's one of those new VW vans there. You saw them in the window. It's a pretty, look at this beautiful dog. That's a beautiful dog there. Appreciate it. Very nice here. Nice truck. Hey, that's a beautiful dog. Oh, you're beautiful. Yeah, how you doing there? Thank you. So here, hey, here's the Sears Tower. Look at this nice clear view. We get to the Sears Tower there, looking down the South Street. Chicago, Illinois. Hey, we got the light. There we go. Yeah, we'll show you this pretty dog here. Oops. No plug button. I'm not trying to film the dog here. There we go. Yeah, I'm filming this. Yeah, it's a nice dog here. I'm trying to. I didn't. I could have followed behind it. I messed up here. So here we go. We'll go this way. There it is. We'll get this dog here.
Are you really not drinking tomorrow? I can't drink a lot.
Very nice.
Bottle. It's gonna like die.
So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're on Division Street. We're almost to Wells and Oldtown. Or we're heading to Oldtown. Wells Street. Gold Coast is behind us. Straight ahead, you cross over west of the elevated train tracks. That's where the former Cabrini Green is, or was. There's still a few blocks left. We'll go by the last Quiznos we know. Anybody know of another Quiznos in the city? And I'm so happy I'm on YouTube because for years that's another nice dog there. I think that's a comfort dog there. But here now we can actually not be worried about this as much. I used to have to like not film this. But here, welcome to Chicago here. They got some, here's the Disco Pancake, Wells Street, and Division here. Yeah, we'll head up here. So there's the animal hospital here, and then there's Bentley's Pet and stuff here. There's Wells Street, Oldtown. There, the House of Glunts. Oops. Happy Camper. Everybody's inside. Yeah, they got an Aldi. Yeah, there's an Aldi right there. So at least we got an Aldi down here. And there's a fresh market about to open where the Doms used to be. There was the Doms, but it suddenly closed down when all the Foxtrots closed down. But now most of the Foxtrots are back, which is like a little convenience store. I think in Austin they call them Blue Bottle. It's like the same thing. It's like a cashless thing. I don't use them, but it's nice. You can sit there in the cafe and use your laptop. It's like a second space, what they call it, like Starbucks, the third space, you know, where you go to get out of your house but still act like you're working when you're not. You know, that's where you go. There, Wells Street, Chicago, Illinois. There. Fire scene. Did you see that? Yeah, we filmed the Chicago fire there. They filmed it. I might be on the show there. They told me to keep moving. They were rolling. We heard them say rolling, and we walked right by there. Fresh Market. Here it is. So here's, yeah, this is where Dom's Market used to be. See, we're on Wells Street. This is Scott Street. There's Declan's Irish Pub here. Division's down that way. That's downtown. The Loop's that way. This is Oldtown. Fresh Market. It's about to open, but I don't. Let's see if this gives us any information here. Public notice. That's just the permit stuff. Looks like it's ready to go. I can't tell if there's any food on the shelf here. Nope, there's no food on the shelf, so maybe I don't think they're going to open in November. I think it might be like closer to Christmas time. It says opening soon, but I don't see a date. Yeah, there's Wells Street. Hey, Grim Evil, that's good. See, the Satanic Church is helping out. See, people realize that even if you belong to the Church of Satan, you can for altruistic or selfish reasons, you can be charitable. You know, you don't have to be evil all the time. Grim knows that too. And I remember that First Amendment case where the Church of Satan wanted to put a statue, and the city said, no, you can't do that. And they said, well, you got all these other religions, why can't we have a statue? And they put a statue up to Lucifer, and it was a big deal. Here's Wells and Goethe. Wells and Goethe. Yeah, speaking of Goethe, wrote Faust, The Deal with the Devil. Read Faust there, Goethe, the original Deal with the Devil. Look at that one wheel there, that's great. Hey, we got some Halloween decorations. So here, Wells Street. We'll head up past the Village Cyclery here. No way. Catholic Church. You were 12 in 86? Yeah. Yeah, lots changed since 86. Yeah, lots changed. Cabrini Green's gone. Robert Taylor homes are gone. Stateway Gardens are gone. They got a Riverwalk that wasn't there. They got we got a lot of new CTA train stations. The pink line didn't exist. The orange line didn't exist in 86. The orange line goes to Midway. The pink line was created from the blue line. Remember when the blue line used to split? That was really confusing. People would be in O'Hare and you didn't know if you were going the one to Forest Park or the one back to Cicero. And then, hey, this is the garden center here on Wall Street here. They got some Halloween decorations there. I guess you can still buy them for next year. But Fresh Market. Oh, here we go. Okay, thanks, Zoom Patrol. Fresh Market is opening, new store. That's it, 1233 North Wells. Early December. Thank you, Zoom Patrol. Thanks for coming through. So early December. So it's not going to open in November. They've been setting it up for a long time. I guess they got a reason. Thanks for the good information there. So December, early December, the Fresh Market will open there. So yeah, let's check out the news on Hurricane Melissa. I want to see. Yeah, we need to talk about Jamaica there. That's a good idea. And Cuba, I guess, was affected. So let's type this in because I haven't heard many people talk about it. Let's see, Hurricane Melissa. Okay, good. So here we go from CNN. Caribbean islands reel from Hurricane Melissa's devastating impact. The storm heads north. This is 1 hour ago. Here's the Small Cheval. Here we're on Wells Street, Oldtown, Chicago. We got 6:03 in the PM. We got about 55 degrees. There's the Cobbler Square there. The former Dr. Scholl's and Western Wheel Company. They gave me an advertisement. Close. Okay, so here's the latest on Hurricane Melissa here. Rescue efforts are underway across the Caribbean after Hurricane Melissa tore through the region. It's one of the most powerful Atlantic storms in more than 150 years. Torrential downpours and forceful winds have already unleashed widespread destruction along the storm's path to Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas. Now it's a Category 2 storm. So storm damaged homes. 30 people have died. Jamaica's the hardest hit. It was the Category 5. 185 mile per hour winds. Man, complete and utter destruction is how Derek Van Dam described the streets of Jamaica's hard-hit coastal town of Black River on Thursday. Here we're crossing. Here's Orso's Restaurante here. This is Wells and Schiller. Wells and Schiller here. Nice Italian restaurant. Yeah, see you sitting at the window there. How you doing? Yeah, Oldtown, Chicago, Illinois. So we're talking about this Hurricane Melissa. People are looking for food and water. Desperation. 15-foot storm surge. Heat and humidity. It's still hot down there. Montego Bay. Here's the Gaslight Court here. Old Coast. Here's the Old Jerusalem restaurant. Montego Bay. How many people have gone to Montego Bay on a cruise or something there? Jamaica's northwestern coast. Alfred Hines, 77 years old, told how he waded barefoot through the mud to escape the rising floodwaters. He said the water came up to his neck in like minutes. Storm surge. So hey, our hearts and thoughts go out to Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, all those islands down there. We're thankful it's weakened now to a Category 2 and it's veering back out to the Atlantic. So here, Wells Street. Yeah, the trivia master of useless facts, that's me. That's why you're watching, right? Yeah, you like these useless facts. It's good.
Is that right?
That's why we do it. We do it so people can complain in the comments. That's what gets me up in the morning here. Here's the hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? That's very nice. Very nice. Thanks for saying hello. That's good. So hey, he's doing the dance there. See, he's on Wells Street. Very nice. So hey, we got street performers on Wells Street. That's great. I should have gave him a tip. Maybe he would have did do some entertaining there. Here, the art of hair design. No, I think that's great. We see people on Michigan Avenue. We saw the bagpiper. We used to take it a break. Here, Wells and Burton. Look at that. So we'll film the Halloween parade tomorrow night. Maybe at lunchtime we'll go over to the zoo. See those. There's Ernie already filmed them. Ernesto Chicago Nuggies. Check out his page there. He's got there's two new grizzly bear mama bears in the Lincoln Park Zoo, and there's still one female polar bear. And I think they're trying. I noticed that we were there like last winter, and I was filming the polar bears when it was cold, and there was a male and a female, but she was not having. She didn't like his attention. She kept like biting him to tell him to go away. So maybe that's why they moved him to the Wisconsin Zoo, because she didn't accept him as a suitor, is what it was. And so I guess they're trying something else here. So here we'll head through Wells Street here. We went by the Red Orchid Theater here. Hey, here we go. Drag bingo starts at 7. With the Secret Queen. Here we go. They got that at the LG's Bar. LG's Bar here. Here's the Vig. See, you needed a good drag show for Halloween here. Yeah. Here's the Red Orchid Theater. I was too soon here. Here's the Red Orchid Theater, Wells Street. We go by Woody's here. See, the big bad city. We're Vice City. The big bad evil Chicago here. There's the nice Woody's got the decorations out here. We'll start to see some Halloween decorations now here. So thanks for tuning in here. Here's Woody's. Yeah. There's the skeletons. We'll see if the ducks are out. I know it's the We're hitting the ducks a lot tonight, or this week. Yeah, Gene, winner. Margie R. Tennessee, Gene, yeah, thanks for coming back here. Thanks for checking out her little walk home here in Chicago, Illinois. Here's the bookshelf. Slant of Light. Merci beaucoup resale shop. Yeah, we got some nice music here. Gallucci's. Go to Gallucci's here. Nice pizzeria here. So there's a Foxtrot. There's the Uptown Cigars. Zany's Comedy Club's there. This is Wells Street. We go through here all the time. This is the fastest way for me to get home walking. One of the fastest ways. So here we'll head by north. This is north in Wells Street. Hey, we got the light here. We'll head straight across. Yeah, this Walgreens. I think this is Stanley Tigerman, the architect. Is that right? This is where they want to build a 36-story high-rise. Hey, Wells Street, Wicker Park's that way. I'll post more footage from Wicker Park to TikTok. We got some good footage. I think I released the... We went to the Matchbox. We talked to the people at the bar. They wanted to get me a drink, and I'm like, I wish I could. I don't drink anymore. And we also ran into the nice group there at Coco Rococo, the vintage shop there. So here we'll head across the street. Here I jumped the light. That's okay. And hey, it looks like they got some lights there. Cochran's, the Moon Star, Utopian Tailgate. I think it's closing down for the season. But hey, Professor Pizza. Here's a Chicago pizza option. Anybody try Professor Pizza here? I think this is the only one. There it is. There's people in there sitting at the bar. The Professor of Pizza there. He started after the pandemic. He sold pizza pies from his house there online, and then people liked it so much they said, hey, let's open a restaurant. Professor Pizza knows what he's doing there. Here's the Second City. See the Second City Improv here. Now playing This Too Shall Slap. There's the show times there. 8 p.m. Tuesday through weekend. They got 7 o'clock. Chaos Theory of Everything. That's what's playing at the Second City here in Chicago. You can take improv classes here. They'll teach you how to do improv. You'll end up on Saturday Night Live like all these people. There's George Wendt, John Belushi, Chris Farley, all the greats. Gilda Radner's on the side here. All came through. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi used to hang out. There was back in the back, that alley there was a bar when they were filming the Blues Brothers. And yeah, Volker, how you doing there? Hey, you had some Professor Pizza after the protest. Hey, Wes, that's great. Yeah, we worked up an appetite. So, hey, look at this place. Welcome to Illinois, where everything will be taxed. We need more casinos. We need more casinos with shops like that in it. Ravenswood, yeah. Howard, yeah. Howard line, take the red line all the way down. Howard's the north end, the red line. The purple line goes express after that, I think. Or sometimes. Utah, how you doing there? Yeah. Shelly. How you doing? Hey, Brian Rose Chicago, how you doing? Thanks for saying hello. Yeah, I'm looking at the comments. I'm gonna trip. Have a happy Halloween there, that's good. Yeah, yeah. Your sister works at Nancy's Pizza? That's good. Tom Bot, what's going on here? Yeah, Brian Rose. Yeah, how you doing? Thanks for saying hello. Yeah, see? Very nice. Yeah, we're saying, the friends and neighbors here, we're saying hello to everybody. Your sister worked at Nancy's Pizza? That's great. New Jersey, how you doing there? Yeah, we got people tuning in from all over here. So hey, if you're new to this channel, we sometimes, I'm a lazy live streamer. Most of what I stream is just walking to and from work. I don't have a car, but I have a driver's license. And we always go by, often, several times a week, we'll go by this house with the ducks. And they're out in the evening, they're not out in the morning. And even in the wintertime, sometimes we've seen them in like the snow. And it's just beautiful. They got a little pond. They got a nice little habitat. They got a turtle that lives with them too. And there's some really nice Halloween decorations up Curly Court here. So we'll check them out here. And I know we've seen them all a million times, but hey, we'll stay within the season. At least somebody's tuning in new that hasn't seen this yet. So welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Old Town. We're on Eugenie Street. We're west of Wells. And this is called the Oldtown Historic District, the Oldtown Triangle Historic District. And here's the 4 ducks, and there's the turtle. I see the turtle tonight. I missed the turtle last night or the night before. There's the turtle just floating there, bobbing with his head. But there's the 4 ducks there. How you doing there, ducks? I like your little pond here. You got some costumes for Halloween. You gonna dress like geese or something else? Well, what would make a nice duck costume? We saw the pugs. Remember, I posted that video. We had the pugs. That was earlier. There's the turtle. So we'll spin around here. There's the ducks. There's the ducks. Yeah, the turtle. No nerves in their feet. Yeah, that's right. They can stick their feet in the cold water. I see that there. They can. Water would be freezing solid, and they could stick their feet in that water. Yeah, so we got some Halloween decorations. They got the tentacles. They got the pink skeletons here. This is Eugenie here. These are workmen's cottages. So these were built after the Great Chicago Fire, 1870s. And we go by them all the time. Here, we'll head up Curly Court just because I'm lazy, and we're going to be streaming a lot tomorrow, especially in the evening. And I'm waiting for this car to figure out what it's going to do. I want to cross the street there, and they're just kind of blocking the path here. I'm trying to head this way, and so I don't know why this car just stopped. Okay, they're dropping somebody off. Okay, good. So let me get out of here. I'm trying to cross the street here, and I'm just going this way. I'm not trying to film you or anything. And here, this thing is battery powered. We got it earlier, and here we'll just head up Curly Court. It was that vehicle stopped in the middle of the intersection, and it was hard for cars to get by. And I guess I don't understand what's going on. But here's Curly Court here. We'll film the Halloween decorations here. We'll just breeze through here. And hey, they got the nice projection. We've seen this here. Hey, I missed this rat. There's a big rat. This is the Henry Gerber house, historic. Here's yeah, we'll go by the Undertaker. Maybe we'll see Jennifer. You should eat again. There's the Undertaker. Hey, there's the creepy clown there. Oops. Hey, look at the snake there. No, that was just a SUV dropping off a kid from school. It looked like a high school kid or something. And I just didn't want him to, I was going to cross the street, and I was going to wait for him to go through. And then they stopped like right where I was at. And I was like, ugh. And I don't like going in front of cars because sometimes they just take off. And so I was going to go behind it, and then another car was passing, and then the guy got out right when I was next to the car and went around the back where I was walking. And I'm like, I'm not filming you. I'm trying to get away from this car. And people came out of the car and came towards me, and I was like, oh my god. Here's look at the porch here. Look at the nice porch here. We filmed this. We got reruns on this, so we'll keep going. The house. We film our house every night. Halloween. Detroit. Here's the dogs. We're on St. Paul Street. This is North Park, and we're in the Oldtown Triangle Historic District. Here doesn't represent all Chicago. This is a very expensive area of Chicago. But hey, look what they got here. They went all out. I'm glad we went by here because this was not up the last few times. They waited till right before Halloween to whip out the really cool decorations. So this deserves a cutout. They did this last year. So hey, look, you get to walk through the tunnel here. We're on North Park Street, north of St. Paul. We're up by Willow. This is Willow we'll wait for these people to walk through here, and then we'll do the nice overview of their wonderful decoration. A bunch of ghost balloons, a bunch of eyes, and they got actually lit up ghosts here. Look at the nice decorations here in Oldtown. Isn't this nice? Yeah, I'm filming the Halloween decorations there. How you doing there? So here, it probably was freaking them out because they thought I was like hiding behind there, like gonna scare them or something. Here's the Halloween decorations here on North Park, and I think everybody's trying to film these, which is nice. Look at that. Yeah, you can walk right through the tunnel there. Look at that. See, people make good use of the space there because technically they can landscape that. So they did the arch over the public space. I've seen people do this with skeletons and things, which is nice. So hey, look at the nice decorations here. So you got some tombstones. Look how it goes across there. Good job. I really like it here. You got the eyes. Look, they always had like the Triceratops. They got all these things. Hey, look, yeah, they got all these there. Rock on. Yeah, everybody's taking pictures here. Look at the nice Halloween decorations here. North Park here, Oldtown, Chicago. What do you think? This wins like an honorable mention for creative. You know, it's totally unique. I haven't seen a Halloween decoration like that anywhere else this season. They did one like that last year. They did a bunch of bubbles. Here's one of the if you walk right over here, here's a classic example of a workman's cottage. Workman's cottage. Look how nice it is. Sometimes the dog barks at me here, but yeah, this is on Willow at North Park. Look at this nice bay window. The Menominee Boys and Girls Club, the Badger family alumni lanes. They got 2 bowling lanes there. If we walk down there, there's the guy changed them up. He changed up the 2 skeletons. We saw it earlier this week. I'm gonna sneak up Lincoln Park West because perhaps the Charles or Frederick Wacker house might have decorated. It looks like they were setting stuff up the last time. So sometimes people wait till right before. Yeah, very creative there. Yeah, a lot of air to blow up those balloons. They like the balloons, yeah. Hey, thanks everybody. Grim and Wes, Dolores and Renee, Scott G, Richard. Yeah, Tombot, thanks for being on there. Brandy. Yeah, Shelly. So here they restored this. They worked on this. There's a nice sculpture here. Hey, they got a few lights there. They're selling that yellow house. It's up on the market here, but they had the doors open here. There's a little free library. Yeah, we'll sneak up Lincoln Park West. I don't think there's many decorations up the street, but I just want to check if they put up any new ones. Because like that was a new one on North Park. We've walked down there many times. That's the first time we've seen that. They waited closer to Halloween to set it up. Probably because of balloons. Yeah, the balloons, you know, people do pop them, or animals or something gets them. A bird tries to land on it. Yeah, Artie, how you doing there, James? Yeah, it's really nice housing here, though. The leaves are just starting to turn here. We got October the 30th, 2025. We got 6:23 in the PM. 55 degrees here, Chicago, Illinois. We're in Lincoln Park now. There's some Halloween decorations. Hey, look at the moon. The moon's looking nice. Hey, they got some spiders. Yeah, nice purple lights. I like the color scheme, very nice. So this is Lincoln Park West in Lincoln Park, north or south of Lincoln Avenue. Lincoln. Land of Lincoln. Hey, oh, this has the cat. Yeah, we saw this. So here, see how the cat moves? Watch it. It waits a little bit and then it moves its head. Let's see if it goes. There it goes. Yeah, it's like the Cheshire Cat. Hey, look at this nice display here. They got the spiders. Yeah, there it goes. Good job. This is such a wonderful street to walk up. It's just amazing urban design. The rhythm of it, the stoops, how the stoops bleed out into the sidewalks. There's the Ann Halstead row houses. Look how nice they look. And these doors. Yeah, look at these doors. A lot of garden apartments. There's the Charles and Frederick Wacker house. That was the father, that was the son. And that was the coach house. They expanded it. It's just beautiful. Let's check it out here. I think they just got a just regular uplighting. It's such a beautiful, and he was on the youngest member of the 1893 World's Columbia Exposition Committee. Later was on the commission that implemented the Burnham Plan. And that's why Wacker Drive is named after these families. The Ann Halstead Row House. So Halstead Wacker. Now this Halstead's not why Halstead Street's named Halstead. I used to erroneously think that, but it was a different Halstead. I learned that from watching Jennifer You Should Eat. But here's the look at that. That's the Charles and Frederick. Frederick was a beer baron. He was a, hey, they're watering their plants here. They got some nice plants here, some nice fruit trees. Look at that. Look at the banisters that they lit the wood grain. Jennifer You Should Eat got inside there. I wish I would have saw that live. I didn't realize Jeremy came over here too. That was amazing. And the guy gave her the grand tour. She smelled like a gas leak. I missed it because I was at my father's place. I wasn't watching that night anything, and she was up late, and they went in there. I was like, where's the rerun? But I think probably out of respect to the homeowner, she didn't want to post it because there's like, I don't know, it's just, yeah, you know, you have to make, maybe he didn't want her to post it, you know. He was okay with it live, but not, you know. So here we'll head up Lincoln. No, let's see. We went up Lincoln earlier. We'll go up Clark Street. We'll go past the St. Valentine's Day Massacre site. That'll be a good thing to cover the night before Halloween. As everybody on YouTube heard me do the St. Valentine's Day Massacre spiel, I know we got reruns on it. I live really near the site, just like I live really near where John Dillinger met his end. The Biograph Theater over on Lincoln there. This is Lincoln. This goes right up there. Yeah, the teardrop windows are amazing. Michael, did you know that Jennifer You Should Eat went inside to talk to Chris? It was back in September, and I guess she was, from what Chris told me, she was walking by and she smelled a gas leak. So they were like notifying the people that lived there. They're like, and he came out, and then he was like, he could tell right away she knew her history, and she was asking about his house, what's it like to live in this historic house, the Charles Wacker house, or Frederick Wacker house. He was a beer baron. He was a German beer baron. That's how he made his fortune, and that's why his son was wealthy enough to hang out with the Fields and the Burnhams and all the Montgomery Wards and all those that were on the Plan Commission. They're families, connected families, the McCormicks. But he invited her inside and gave her a grand tour. They were like in the basement. They were in the attic. They were like, historical stuff would pop out of the wall because, you know, that house was probably built in the 1880s, and it's a rare Victorian, like, Italianate hybrid combo. And Jen was, I'm sure she was in her glory piece. It was like a relic house, you know. He had stuff like from the Great Chicago Fire in there, you know. It was just and like he had like the fireplace going. That's probably where it's not good to have the fireplace going with like a gas leak, you know. And be like backdraft. But hey, if you just joined me in Chicago, we're heading home here. We're up Lincoln Park West. Let's go by the Sushi Nova here, the Champagne Sushi Nova. Hey, look at the top. That's the top of the Sears Tower. So let's see if I can zoom in. That's the top of the Sears Tower. That's like 3 miles south of us. We're Chicago, Lincoln Park. We're gonna connect with Clark Street. Well, I could go up Orleans too. We went up Orleans and we didn't see any Halloween decorations. It's a beautiful residential street. Maybe I'll do it just for that. Yeah, I think we'll cut over there. It's kind of a creepy, dark street. The buildings are beautiful, the red brick. But here, BYOB. This is a sushi place called Sushi Nova. Hey, it's pretty packed here. Look at that. In the summertime, you can sit out here. Sushi Nova here. I always call it Champagne Sushi Nova because of the Oasis. We saw Oasis. That was great. Hey, you like his hoodie there. You missed that one? Yeah, I know. I wish she would have posted a rerun, but I guess there might have been reasons why she didn't. Chris said she deleted the footage, but I think she just, that was a convenient story. That's my joke. I trust her judgment. Here's top of Sears Tower. Yeah, John. Oh, from Oak Park. Yeah, you can see. I've seen. I was out in Oak Park once. There was one of those. There's like a 10 or 20 story condo building there, and we were like on the 10th floor, and we could see it. You could see the whole skyline there. It's pretty dramatic from that far west. You're like 20 miles west, but or no, 10 miles? No, 10 miles west. Only 10 miles west. Oak Park's not that far away. But I've seen from 294, you can be way out west on 294, and there's that big viaduct that goes over that rail yard. You can look and see the skyline from there. You can see the Sears Tower from the Bishop Ford down by Pullman. And certainly when you go up to Dan Ryan, you see you got that nice long vista for a long way. Here, this is Clark Street, and we're at Armitage here. We're waiting for the left turns here. Couldn't stop watching. Oh, you saw that. Winter, you saw that? Look, they just went. We got that on film. And yeah. Oh, here's the Coco. I didn't see the Coco. It almost got me there. So, hey, there goes the. Watch out, the Coco will run over you there. Not when you're not looking. That's the little delivery stuff that's going to replace you. The robots are starting to replace us. But UBS laid off 12,000 corporate jobs. They said, their AI computer can do what these 12,000 people did. They can work at the Apple cell phone factory. That's a joke. Hey, let's see what's going on here. This is the Park West. Yeah, let's check out the Park West. Looks like there's it's a music venue. Looks like there's a show tonight. All the layoffs, yeah, it's got to show up. See, we're flying blind. There's no data now because the government shutdown, which is convenient. So the market could just like hover at the all-time highs because there's no bad news and there's no good news. There's no news because we don't know. I mean, Jerome Powell says everything's hunky-dory. You might have to eat those words. Here's the Park West. That's usually when you got to watch out when they say everything's fine. Here's the Park West. Don't look here. Park West here in Armitage here. Look at that building. That's relatively new. I don't remember that here. Hey, Park West, how you doing? Yeah. Who's playing tonight here? Real Estate Rumble. There we go. Chicago Real Estate Rumble here, Park West. Nice place. They got, yeah, they're right across from the, behind the 2020 building there on Clark Street. Orleans. Actually, I'm going to go over to Sedgwick because even though this is a nice street, I know there's one or two Halloween decorations on Sedgwick, and we can do the psychedelic Barbie house. So I'll spare you from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre if you're really interested. Does anybody want to see the St. Valentine's Day Massacre? We can still do it, but I got reruns on it. So we'll do Gay Az Cafe here. Hey, they got the flames going. Yeah, let's check this out. So I like, this is a romantic spot here. This is a fondue place. So here we're on Sai Mai Thai restaurant. Here's Gay Az Fondue Cafe here. It's on Armitage, just west of Clark Street, and they got the nice. How you doing? They got the nice fires here. Look at the nice fires they got going here. Great fondue place here. Check it out. And you can sit inside too. It has a real like Mad Men, old timey 60s feel. You know, like a fondue place. Look at that. See the fire pit. The fire's going. Hey, Yvette's got this nice mural here. And so this place closed down. This was a sushi place. Let's see, here's Yvette's here. Nice neon. Can you sit over there too? Hey, that's part of Yvette's. You want a pizza? Yeah, the Chicago Pizza and Oven Grinder. That's right across the street from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre site. Yeah, I went there with my Aunt Della, and I went there with my sister and my brother-in-law. We went to the Chicago Pizza and Oven Grinder. There's that new housing there on, this is Sedgwick, Armitage, and Lincoln. And that used to be the CVS there. Variable head of Sedgwick. The band's playing a different tune. Yeah, well, welcome to the war zone. Welcome to the war zone of Chicago. You know, that's normal for, you know, a politician that runs the country to bash his own cities. Say, you know, it's the, you need to use the army on their own city because we're bad. We deserve to be punished. We're bad. Evil sanctuary city. The sanctuary's broken. No sanctuary. No holds barred. Become a sanitarium instead of sanctuary. We're like Arkham Asylum. Hey, look at these nice wrought iron fences. Let's see. Yeah, look at the shadows there. So this is Sedgwick Street. Lincoln Park, Chicago, heading home here. So they don't have the lights on. Maybe they'll turn it on tomorrow. They got some Halloween decorations here, but they don't have the lights on here. You got the skeleton. Prettiest war zone you ever seen, yeah. Complete with Halloween decorations and the green light security that drives around Burlington Orchard. That's why check out Chuck de Los Santos' book there, Once Upon a Time in the Neighborhood. He starts out, he goes, all these people say, you know, that Lincoln Park crime's so bad. He goes, he grew up in the 70s and 80s in you know, the western side of Lincoln Park. And, you know, he had to fight to go to school. The red line didn't even stop at North and Clybourne there because Cabrini Green and, like, no one wanted to use it. It was too dangerous. Like, literally, they couldn't even run the subway, and there was a station there. They would just go straight through there without using it. Look at the skeleton. I remember in the late 90s, I would come back from Christmas, and the Guardian Angels would be guarding the station so people didn't feel threatened coming with their luggage and stuff. And that's when Crowbar was over there. Cabrini Green was still there. There wasn't as much commercial over there. The bridge over North Avenue was different then. Now it's like this cable-stayed suspension type bridge. It used to be like a big long basket drawbridge because the turning basin's there, and it was like a red light district. Like you know, people would walk across there and they would break into cars to turn tricks. It was, and if you went to Crowbar, like people would come out of Crowbar at 4 a.m. like dancing all night, and their car would be all messed up because someone used it as a bedroom. It was horrible, you know. That's how it was. So it's not like that now. You know, as bad as crime is now, it's smash and grabs, drive-by, stupid, senseless killings. Back then it was like turf wars, gangs against gangs, the folks and the peoples. It was, you know, and little kids fought from, you know, going to school. It was vast areas of the city, including here. This area was different back then, and that's what he talks about in his book, Chuck de Los Santos, Once Upon a Time in the Neighborhood. And look at the alley here. So here we'll head up through Sedgwick here. Yeah, your mom used to see him on the Grand Avenue stop too. That used to be bad too. Yeah, how you doing there? Thanks, Brandy. You remember? Yeah, thanks, Tombot. Used to ride your bike all over the city there. Yeah, never had an issue. There you go. See, I go all over. I got 300 videos on TikTok, South and West Side. We're still adding to it. Here's hey, they got some mummies and stuff. But look at this housing here, Sedgwick Street. These window bays and these stoops, the rhythm of them, it's just amazing, the urban design. And I love these stoops. They got the nice, hey, I got some really carved pumpkins, hand carved pumpkins, the old-fashioned way. Hey, look at these. Hey, how you doing there, doggy? How much is that doggy in the window? Yeah. You live across the river, St. Louis. Yeah, Luna Cafe. Al Capone's hideout. Yeah, was that East St. Louis or near there? That's great. Yeah, Al Capone was all over Illinois. Everywhere you go, people said Al Capone was there. And it's true, because he was all over. Here's some of them are a stretch. You know, even in Chicago, they erroneously think that people say he had the speakeasy at the top of the Jewelers Building, but we don't find any evidence of that. But it's nice to think that. Here's the Psychedelic Barbie house here. This beautiful Victorian painted lady here. Look how the wrought iron fencing matches the porch and the cornice there, and the mansard roof there. They got the John Kearney statues here, the horse and the giraffe, and the lighting. The lighting is what makes it psychedelic. It's, to me, it's just beautiful. Look, they got red, purple, green, yellow. Look how it hits that cornice there. I'm backing out here. Let's see if I'm looking at anybody here. Look at the Psychedelic Barbie house here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We're on Sedgwick Street. We're south of Webster. This is just a block away from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre site. And this was built in like the late 1880s. And it's single family residence right here on, hey, nice dogs. Sedgwick here. And it's that fence and that lighting. Yeah, if I was a ghost, I'd haunt that place. There, let's head across here. Of course, the Jesters on Webster Street. I'm tired of seeing the Jester. It's a nice display, but it goes doo 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 doo. Oh, this is nice. Let's check out this porch here. It's such a beautiful stoop here. Hey, there's a bicycle built for two. Look at that. Hey, look at this nice Halloween stoop here. We got the spider webs and the pumpkins, gourds. Yeah, nice fall display. See, sometimes just a simple thing like that goes a long way. Esme, go to Esme, Cafe Esme, whatever they call this. Let's head up Clark Street here. Look at that. So yeah, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre was just to the right. Of course, February the 14th, 1929. It was Al Capone's attempt to take out Bugs Moran. There used to be a warehouse there. There used to be a livery barn, and then it was a mechanic shop. And they tore it down in 1968 to build this. Look at the moon there. So that's on the other side of that building is where it happened. And the brick wall is now in the Bomb Museum in Las Vegas. And they recreated the bricks. You can see the bullet holes. So infamously where they lined up the 7 men against the wall and shot them with 70 rounds of two Tommy guns. The strangest thing was there was 4 assailants. 2 of them were dressed as Chicago police officers. So when people heard the gunshots, they looked outside, and from their perspective, they saw 2 Chicago police officers march out 2 gangsters with their hands up. But all 4 of those guys were proxies for Al Capone's Southside gang. Many people have theories and know who they were, but it's still technically an unsolved mystery. They never they apprehended people, but they never charged or convicted anybody for the murders. And Bugs Moran escaped because he was supposed to be there. Somebody that looked like him went in there, was one of the 7 that was killed, but it wasn't him. He didn't go inside because he thought he saw a police car, which might have been the 2 guys dressed as policemen, and didn't go in because he thought it was gonna be a shakedown. And he lived near there. He probably just went back to his hotel room on Lincoln Park West and Dickens there. And There's Yo Berry. This is Clark Street. This is the Francis Parker School. Thanks everybody for tuning in here. Yeah. Hang in there. Axel. Nothing scares you anymore. Yeah, I know. York, England. How you doing there? ADGE. Oh, I talk too fast? Okay, yeah, I'll try to talk slower. I know I get worked up, and you know, I'm hoping to get. I've been experimenting with translating my shorts into multiple languages, where you could hear my voice in multiple languages, and so, you know, I guess I need to. I know I'm a fast talker. I get excited. I talk a lot, and I talk fast. You gotta talk fast in the big city. Yeah, you gotta talk like that. You gotta talk like the old days. Yeah, that's the ticket. Here we are in Clark Street in Chicago, 1929. St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Say, yeah. I'll do my whole bit like that. I'll be like a cartoon character of a Chicago 1920s gangster. Be like on the Bugs Bunny thing there. Button my lip. Button your lip. Clean and safe. No one's that. No. Hey, Michael Anderson. Let's mark this down. I don't think anybody. I've been live streaming for hours. 3 years, miles, thousands of miles. I don't think anyone has ever said Chicago is clean and safe. I think you're the first one. Thank you. Thanks, Adji. And see, you're giving us the foreign perspective, which is great. And I appreciate that because, if there's anybody bashing Chicago, it's another American. And most people from, visit us from, they're like, wow, this is a nice city. Why do Americans hate it so much, And we do have we have crime. We have a lot of crime. It's expensive. We have bad cold weather in the wintertime. We have bad traffic. Our transit system's old. It works, but it only gets you downtown into the airports, and it doesn't go crosstown. And we're all spread out. We got a beautiful lake. What else we got? Our parking meters are all messed up. All the money goes to the Middle East. It doesn't even go to the city because they sold them. I mean, it's just stupid things like that that drive people nuts. Did I say crime's bad? Yeah. Or the perception of crime's bad. See, it's not. The crime's bad, but it's not any worse than most other American cities. It's just, it seems worse because we have the larger population, and the numbers just seem daunting when you got a weekend and like 20 people get shot in a weekend, and it's like normal. And summer weekends, it's even worse. Like a holiday, 3-day holiday, it'd be like 50 people were shot. Here comes this is not Coco. This is a competitor to Coco. So this is called Roberto. So I know I'm trying to get out of its way here. Good, yeah, do it. Let's get to this. Get Roberto's messing up. It's going too slow there. So we got Coco and we got Roberto. There's the robots it's delivering people's food there. It's like Uber Eats. There's the Reby Moving and Storage here, Clark Street. Hey, Raven's here. What is that? But there's the Pharaohs. Yeah, Reby Moving and Storage here. Look at this Egyptian revival storage place here. I know she was. I was too. Roberto, didn't saw me coming. It was stopping the flow of the people walking behind it, is what it was. And I hope they're paying the city to use the sidewalks. It's more taking of the commons. Turned around. There's the Red Bull. Got the free commercial there. That's why I turned around and saw a live streamer who wanted me to film it. That's why it's got a loud muffler too. I guess Red Bull likes loud mufflers. Here's the drinks menu. Oh, look at this place. So Sarah Deli here. Sarah. What they got here? They got coffee, mango, drinks menu. Looks like a nice place here, Clark Street. So that's new. Here's the Big Apple. And hey, there's the Big Apple on Clark Street. Lincoln Park, Chicago. We'll end it up here at the Pickleball Anatolia, Greek restaurant here, Mediterranean. And then there's Mishka's Liquors here. This used to be where Neo's used to be. I miss Neo's. There was a dance club right there. They had retro nights and stuff. Hey, here's the pickleball, Clark Street Pickleball. Yeah, everybody's playing pickleball here. This used to be an Urban Outfitters. I like it better as a pickleball place here. It was at Christmas time. It was a pop-up shop for the Christmas throughout the world there, but now it's probably going to stay. It's been pickleball for over a year now. Last winter it was pickleball as well. Clark Street Pickleball here. Sports and Social Group, Clark and Fullerton. So hey, have a good night there. Thanks everybody. Thanks to my moderators, and we'll cut out that footage. We saw some good stuff today at Marshall Fields there, Macy's. So hey, there's the New Balance store here, Clark and Fullerton. Here's the Five Guys. There's the Five Guys, Clark and Fullerton. Have a good night here, everybody. We'll talk to you later from Chicago. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks everybody. All right, thanks Michael Anderson. Thanks for being on. We'll talk to everybody later there. Here's this nice view. Look at this great view you get to. That's the John Hancock there. Look at the moon. Look at that. So hey, we'll leave you with the moon there. The moon tower. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bright and early. Have a good night there. Grim Evil, thanks for being on. Brandy, T-Lime Tea Time there. Chicago Toxic Donut, John. Yeah, Bodie. Yeah, Kevin. Renee. I'm missing people. Tombot, thanks. Wes, Scott. Oh, a bunch of Scots there. Cindy, Soupy, yeah. Aggie, yeah. Rich, Ram, Chi-Town Love, okay. Ray, Rich.